Good morning. I'm Karthi Vishak. I'm presenting you a special report on IGTC News. Today we will look at Arcelor Mittal merger, and the headlines are: background of the case, pre-merger scenario, synergy for merger, strategy behind the merger, valuation of Arcelor and financials, financing of the deal, negotiation timeline, post-merger scenario, overall conclusion on the project. We are looking at something which is everywhere in our lives for a reason. It is the great collaborator working together with all other materials to advance growth and development. It is the foundation of the last 200 years of economic progress. It will be equally fundamental in meeting the challenge of next 100 years, enabling innovation, and is at the core of green economy. So let's look at this video to know further.
My origin is somewhere in the depths of the earth, and my story began billions of years ago, when I was born in a blaze of fire. I helped you survive through the ages. I've changed the way you work, and I've changed the way you live. I've been part of mankind's greatest achievements. I allowed you to expand your frontiers, to explore the land, the water, the skies, and even the universe. Throughout the centuries, I was reborn again and again. I'm known for stability and strength. My quantity is measured in millions of tons, but my quality is defined in millions of an inch. I've stretched the possibilities of human imagination. I've inspired you to shape your visions and reach new heights. Once I'm back to where I came from, I can become virtually anything you can imagine. I am more versatile than I have ever been before. I'm always with you. I'll protect you and guide you. I'm all around the globe, wherever you go. I'm everywhere and will always be. I am the engine of innovation. I am the pulse of the modern world. And you'll build your future on me, because I am steel, the fabric of life.
A new steel giant was created out of a bitter battle after Arcelor formally agreed on a 26.5 billion euros takeover by rival company Mittal Steel. The deal combines Arcelor, a symbol of successful pan-European corporation and economic revival, with operations that span Luxembourg, Belgium, France and Spain, with a fast-growing conglomerate founded by the Indian-born Lakshmi Mittal, built a fortune turning around 60 plants in rapidly expanding markets from Trinidad to Kazakhstan. Take a look.
The British-based Indian steel magnate Lakshmi Mittal has secured his merger with Arcelor to create a global steel giant.
The merger of these two companies will create the European global champion.
challenge is probably integrating the cultures.
Mittal worked in a different entrepreneurial culture.
When you put together so many plants, cultures, languages and people, you cannot just say it's done.
C'est un peu inquiétant parce qu'on ne sait jamais quand il y a des groupes qui vont ensemble, il y a toujours des gens qui perdent leur travail.
C'est vrai, on se fait des soucis.
What does that mean for my job? What does that mean for my department?
There are a lot of what ifs.
We wanted that the system of the both companies would be mixed together in a manner that we get the best out of the both worlds. Lots of people were having lots of doubts, apprehensions, but I was very clear. It made perfect sense for both Mittal and Arcelor.
One of the biggest challenges is to keep ears and eyes open every day on what is going on. Top management must maintain a very quality link with the shop floor, all the layers of management.
It is very difficult to cascade down information, and I think this is one of the greatest challenges we're facing, is how do we get information through two companies that are now one company, 300,000 people, 60 countries, a lot of different organizations.
The biggest challenge is securing the day-to-day business. So we need people to be motivated, excited, and focus on what they're doing already. Secondly, it's ensuring the integration happens in a seamless fashion so that people are not disrupted in their work, they're not demotivated, and the organization can become stronger, not weaker.
We want to be the most admired company. So now I got to make sure that sustainable development will contribute to getting to this objective in a short period of time.
Merger is a very unique merger, and it demonstrates that there is a need for further consolidation. It has made other competitions and other companies to think afresh about their business model. And I'm very pleased that ArcelorMittal merger has led the path for the steel industries to continue to accelerate the consolidation process.
That was an interesting story. Now let's have a look at the financials of ArcelorMittal. Yeah, welcome to the structure of the deal. So, when the process of merger happened, what do you think the approach of the valuation of Arcelor was? There are numerous methods of doing valuation. Let us look at the perspective from discounted cash flow. There were certain assumptions which had to be made into the valuation. The growth of revenues. The steel industry across the globe today is more or less, was stagnant at the point of the merger time. So, based on the historical perspective and the growth projections that we had for next 15 years, so taking the average out of it, so we have the terminal average 3% for growth in revenues. Then coming to the capital expenditure and fixed assets, the sales to capital ratio for steel industries normally has been around 3 for the last 2 decades. And the marginal tax rate, the tax rate in European countries vary from each different location. Also different for industries as well. So for steel industries, normally what we find in both Luxembourg and United Kingdom is that it's an average of around 25 to 32. So we've taken a marginal tax rate of 30%. So coming to the projected cash flows for the next 10 years till 2015, where we currently stand today. If you look at the performance of Arcelor, the period of 2003 to 2004-5, so probably Arcelor had just only anywhere between 1 to 1.5% as the growth rate. So with these assumptions in mind, when we calculated the projection in 2005, there was a negative projection. Then forward going, with the merger of Mittal and Arcelor together as a single entity, we saw that probably the growth rate trend is somewhere around around 20%, and probably it will reach a huge figure of close to almost 2,199 euros, billion euros in the year 2015. So this was the whole idea of our projection of the future cash flows. So next, let's see how we estimated and then arrived at the value of Arcelor, which Mittal ultimately paid the price for acquiring Arcelor. Yeah, structure of the deal. Cost of capital calculations for Arcelor, the risk-free rate of a country where they operate majorly has been, say the market is around roughly 4%. Then the market risk premium slightly over 4%, that is around 6%. Then adjusted beta, this is very important. So to arrive at the rate of cost of capital value, we use the beta. It's an adjusted level at just above 1. Return on equity in around 10%. Return on debt 5.4%, and the debt equity ratio. This is very important because every industry is different and then operates in their own domain. So each operation is completely different. Some business models have higher equity, some models work on debt. So normally, on an average, what we find for steel industries is that debt equity ratio is somewhere around 0.5, and then it remains constant because of the high voluminous nature of the operations. So finally, putting all these things together, we found the weighted average cost of capital for our valuation of Arcelor to be somewhere around 8%. So let's see what were those numbers derived out of our valuation next. Structure of the finally the share price what we estimated for Arcelor was 41.34 euros. The price offered by Mittal was 40.4 euros. So what we see, the two major difference over here is that Arcelor ideally at the point of time was actually not doing so very well in their business. No matter whatever the nature of the business and their products were, their products were not growing so much rapidly in the market. It could be also because of the slowdown of the economy. Nevertheless, Arcelor was clearly undervalued at this point of time, and Mittal actually went about getting merged with Arcelor at a very fair deal. So in a sense that the market might hype and then say that Mittal paid a huge premium to merge with Arcelor, but then the actual valuation in this approach clearly shows us that Arcelor was actually undervalued. So finally the value offered by Mittal, the value comes around just a slight euro, was 1 euro. So total acquisition around 601.6 million euros was the value which Mittal derived out of this merger at 2006, during 2006. So the terminal cash flows, the firm value evaluation. So these numbers finally end up for value per share at 41.34. That's what we discussed. So even though there were a lot of synergies around which promoted for the merger, slightly from this valuation method, we see that Arcelor was clearly undervalued. So let's see how the share, the market actually responded to this incident. Looking at the Arcelor share in the market, 2006 in the January the prices were very low, and then steeply it curves and then keeps rising when it comes to June, and then keeps up while after the merger the merger actually took place. So on 27 when Mittal gave his first offer to Arcelor, the price was somewhere very low. You can see over here that it was on 27th January, and subsequently post the negotiation, the price rise dramatically, say by over almost then by 6% on an average on the curve, and this is what we see. And 26 probably then thereafter to have consolidation of the merger, Arcelor prices kept on rising, and then from August we can see that it got stagnated until October. So this is the period when the acquisition was rampant, and then there were share swaps happening between Arcelor shareholders and Mittal. Change. Yeah. Now looking at the Mittal share price, during the same relevant day, how the markets actually fluctuated. On 27th when the deal was made, you can see that fairly the market price was somewhere around this level, and then on 19th May when Arcelor was offered again a 34% hike, the share price significantly dropped. So the market analyzed, and then probably the investor sentiments or shareholders in the market was such that Mittal probably was not, was taking probably a raw decision at that point of time, and then probably they were not very happy that they speculated that they would lose their money in this process. Then subsequently 26th June, the share price probably on an average was about the same, but we can see that overall there has been a decline of roughly around the same percent of average 6%, like what actually raised for Arcelor. So the merger process, like the theory always says, that the target company's price gets steady and then gets rise in the market for very obvious reasons to gain larger money, some out of from the target company, and the target company normally loses the market share at this level. So this is what we have found out in analysis with Arcelor and Mittal, and this is our valuation. The major observation of the deals are: the merger of Arcelor Steel Company with Mittal Steel Company is a marriage of giants which resulted in the biggest steel company in the world with a market share of 10%. Arcelor was clearly undervalued when Mittal approached them. This comes out clearly from the discounted free cash flow to firm analysis we did for Arcelor. The intrinsic value we calculated for an Arcelor share was €41.34 compared to the stock market price of €21.05 which it was trading. Mittal valuation of Arcelor's share at the offered price of €40.4 is very close to the intrinsic value of Arcelor's share. Hence, from a purely financial point of view, the acquisition is profitable, but not very attractive. Clearly, there are many difficulties to quantify cost and revenue synergies which Mittal would have valued before going ahead with the merger. Let me wrap this special edition of IGTC News. Thank you for watching.